I was making tea when my phone buzzed. It was a voice message from Bianca, my coworker from the bank. We weren't best friends or anything, but she wasn't the type to overreact either. Her message was only 5 words, no greeting, no explanation. Girl, you need to hear this. I blinked at the screen. Attached was a podcast episode link. Landon's podcast. My stomach dropped. Landon Keller, my boyfriend of almost 3 years, co-hosted this dumb podcast with his college buddy Trevor. Unfiltered talk, they called it. Mostly just 2 dudes drinking craft beer and saying things they thought were edgy. I rarely listened, but something about Bianca's tone made my fingers tremble. I grabbed my headphones and hit play. The first few minutes were harmless. Sports, crypto, some weird rant about oat milk. Then came the question that changed everything. Trevor, so what's your girl like, man? Landon, laughing. Sienna? She's convenient. I froze. She's not, like, a 10 or anything. But she doesn't nag. She doesn't get in my way. She lets me do my thing, makes great pasta. And doesn't complain when I work late. Low maintenance. Reliable. You know. Trevor laughed. Someone in the background said, "That's rare, bro." Landon kept going. She's like that perfect background app that never crashes. Useful, but forgettable. The room on the podcast erupted in laughter. My blood ran cold. Trevor joked, "So you locking it down?" Landon responded with something that made my lungs stop working. Honestly, I've been talking to someone else, this girl at my gym. Just weighing my options. Don't want to settle too soon. Settle? The podcast continued, jokes, laughter, shallow takes on relationships, but I didn't hear any of it. My world had stopped. I checked the time. The episode had aired 2 nights ago. Monday night. While I was at home, ironing his shirt for a conference. While I was texting him good night. While he was telling me he loved me. I was convenient. I sat there on the floor of my kitchen, tea gone cold, heart in my throat, and realized I didn't need to hear more. This wasn't a mistake. This was how he really saw me. And, just like that, something in me flipped. No crying. No screaming. Just silence. I didn't call him, didn't text, didn't even listen to the rest of the podcast. I already knew what I needed to know. By the time I'd rinsed out the cold tea and put my mug in the sink, a strange clarity had settled over me, like my heart had flipped a switch. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to cry. I was going to vanish. That night, I packed a small duffel bag, the one I usually used for weekend trips. I threw in my charger, 2 sets of work clothes, deodorant, mascara, and the copy of Tiny Beautiful Things I'd been meaning to reread. I didn't even fold anything. I didn't care. I left our apartment just after 9:30 p.m. He was at his gym's guys' night, which I now understood meant flirting with his backup plan. I drove straight to Bianca's, barely blinking the whole way there. She lived in a tiny but cozy apartment 10 minutes from my branch. When she opened the door, she didn't say a word, just moved aside and pointed to the couch. We sat there in silence. She poured wine into mismatched mugs. Eventually, I said, "He called me convenient." Her response? "Then let's make you inconvenient as hell." That night, we created a list. A real checklist on yellow legal paper titled, Operation Ghost Mode. Block Landon on phone, Instagram, email, and yes, even LinkedIn. Change all passwords, including the banking app he helped set up. Turn off my location sharing. He always said he liked knowing I was safe. Call in sick for the rest of the week. Mental health isn't a luxury, it's survival. At 1:12 a.m., the text started. "Hey, babe, just got home. You okay? Where are you? Your car's gone. Are you mad or something?" By 2:30, he'd called 7 times. No apology. No mention of the podcast. Just confusion, like he couldn't possibly imagine I'd heard it. The next morning, Bianca handed me a bagel and a fresh towel like we were just roommates. Her cat, Bruce, curled into my lap while I stared at the text count climbing. 12 missed calls by noon. 17 by 6 p.m. Still not a single word about what he'd done. I turned off my phone. That night, I lay on Bianca's pull-out couch under a lumpy blue blanket, staring at the ceiling fan spinning like it had no idea someone's life had just cracked open. No tears. Just silence. Let him wonder. Let him spiral. I wasn't going to give him a single piece of closure. By Friday, the silence had become a kind of armor. Landon had called 23 times, left 6 voicemails, texted things like, "I'm worried," and "You're scaring me," and my personal favorite, "If you're trying to punish me, congrats. You win." But not once did he mention the podcast. I hadn't cried yet. It's like my body was stuck in emotional traffic, unable to move. Instead, I wandered Bianca's apartment in autopilot, folding her towels, reorganizing her spice rack, refreshing her cat's litter box, anything to keep from thinking too long. Then Saturday morning came, and I did something stupid. I opened our shared Google Photos account, the one we used for trips, birthdays, all our milestone moments. I clicked on our vacation folder from last summer, San Diego. There we were, smiling on the boardwalk. Me in a yellow sundress, hair in a braid. Landon's arms were around me, but his eyes? Looking at the camera. Not at me. So I kept scrolling. Christmas party. Game night. My promotion dinner. In every single photo, I was smiling at him. He was smiling at the camera. Or his phone. Or wearing that fake grin he used for social media. It hit me like a slap. I'd been in love alone. For 3 years, I thought we were building a life. But he was building an image. And I was just part of the background. I shut the laptop and just sat there, staring at the wall, trying to remember the last time he made me feel genuinely loved. Not just appreciated for being easy. I thought about all the subtle digs he'd made. "You're pretty for someone who doesn't wear much makeup. You're so level-headed, not dramatic like other girls. I don't have to try so hard with you. You're just chill." I used to take that as a compliment. Now it felt like code for, "You require so little, it's convenient to keep you around." That night, Bianca and I sat on the balcony with a bottle of cheap wine and 2 bags of chips. She didn't say much. She didn't need to. But then she asked me something that stopped me cold. "Be honest. Were you happy or just comfortable?" I didn't answer. Not because I didn't know, but because I finally did. And it scared me. Sunday morning, I woke up to the sound of buzzing, not from my phone, but from the apartment's intercom. I froze under the covers. Bianca was still asleep in her room. Bruce the cat snoring on the edge of the couch. I crept to the door, my heart pounding. Pressed the intercom. "Hello." Silence. Then, a voice I knew better than my own heartbeat. "Sienna? I just want to talk. Please." "Landon." I didn't respond. Just stepped back from the door like it had burned me. Bianca came out moments later, rubbing her eyes and immediately alert when she saw my face. I didn't have to say anything. She grabbed her phone, marched over, and buzzed the intercom. "Landon? She's not here. Don't come back." He didn't argue, didn't shout. But an hour later, when we went down to grab coffee, there was a bouquet of drooping red carnations taped to Bianca's door. No note. Just flowers. As if that would erase what he'd said. That night, I couldn't sleep. My brain kept replaying the podcast clip like a broken record. Convenient. Low maintenance. Forgettable. By Monday morning, I decided I needed clothes. I couldn't live in borrowed leggings and graphic tees forever. Bianca had to work, so I drove to our apartment around 9 a.m., figuring it was safe. Landon usually left by 8:30. When I stepped into the hallway, I knew immediately. The door was closed, but there was a faint light flickering under the crack. He was inside. I hesitated, then unlocked the door slowly, cautiously, and what I found made my skin crawl. Candles. Everywhere. Our old playlist playing softly from the Bluetooth speaker. Photos of us printed and taped along the hallway wall, moments I had loved, now weaponized. On the fridge. Remember our first night here? On the mirror. I miss your smile. On the bed. I can't sleep without you. I backed out before I even made it to the living room. My hands shook as I dialed the landlord. Hi, this is Sienna Hale, apartment 3B. I need the locks changed. Immediately. He was apologetic. Said he hadn't realized Landon still had access. I didn't even bother to explain. Just said. He broke in. And I don't feel safe. By noon, the locksmith arrived. I watched from the parking lot, hands in fists, while the metal bolts that once welcomed Landon were replaced. I went back upstairs, gathered my things in silence. Half of them smelled like him. I shoved them in bags anyway. As I was leaving, I found one last note on my nightstand. Please, just talk to me. I ripped it in half. Then again. And again. Until the pieces were dust in the trash. This wasn't romance. It was control. And I was done playing along. I thought I was done. Change the locks. Rip the notes. Block the number. Case closed. But the thing about people like Landon? They don't let go not because they love you, but because they can't stand losing control. Wednesday evening, while Bianca and I were watching reality TV and roasting everyone's fashion choices, I got a DM on Instagram from someone I hadn't heard from in over a year. Trevor, Landon's podcast co-host. The guy who'd laughed right along with him during the convenient girlfriend segment. Trevor, hey, this is weird, but I think you deserve to know something. Can we talk? My first instinct was to ignore it. I didn't need another sorry bro monologue or someone trying to play both sides. But then a second message popped up. A screenshot. It was a group chat, podcast brothers, between Trevor, Landon, and two others. And it was dated 3 weeks before the episode aired. Landon. Yo, I need to break up with Sienna, but I don't want to be the bad guy. Trevor. What happened? Landon. She's getting too serious. I've been talking to someone new at the gym. But Sienna's got friends at the bank. People like her, it'll look bad if I just dip. Another dude. So make her dump you. Be a jerk. Say wild sh**t. Landon. Was thinking maybe I accidentally say something on the pod. She doesn't listen anyway. Could go viral too. I felt the wind knock out of me. This wasn't a drunken mistake. It was premeditated. A performance. He chose to humiliate me. He rehearsed it. For content. I stared at the chat, rereading the messages over and over until the words blurred into white noise. Bianca walked in from the kitchen, saw my face, and stopped cold. What happened? I handed her my phone. Her mouth dropped open mid-sip of LaCroix. This man orchestrated your public humiliation. For clout? I didn't respond. My heart was racing, but my mind was calm. Furious. Clear. I wasn't just angry anymore. I was awake. It all made sense now. The timing. The vague apologies. The way he kept dancing around the actual issue. Because he never thought I'd find out. Because he still thought he was smarter than me. Because to him, I was just the quiet girl with a chill personality and low standards. He forgot I work in finance. I know how to track paper trails. I need to confront him, I said. But on my terms. I texted him from a new number. Short. Direct. We need to talk. Tomorrow. 2 p.m. Brewline Cafe on Hawthorne. Don't be late. He replied in less than 10 seconds. Thank you, Sienna. I'll be there. I love you. I stared at that last line for a long time. I love you. He'd said it so many times over the past 3 years. Whispered it into my neck after dinner, mumbled it before falling asleep, even typed it in grocery lists. Milk, bananas, love you, babe. But now? It felt hollow. Manufactured. A marketing line he thought might sell me one more time. The next morning, I dressed like armor. Dark blazer. Clean hair. No makeup, not because I didn't care, but because I didn't need to perform. I printed out the screenshots Trevor had sent, slipped them into a slim folder, labeled it like a case file. Exhibit A, Truth. I arrived 10 minutes early and chose the corner booth, back to the wall, full view of the room. I ordered a black coffee and didn't touch it. Landon walked in at exactly 1:59 p.m. He looked like the version of himself I used to love, button-down shirt tucked in, hair still damp like he'd just showered for the first time in days. He scanned the cafe until he saw me. His eyes lit up. Mine didn't. He approached slowly, like I was some wild animal he didn't want to spook. "Sienna, I've missed you so much." I gestured to the seat. He slid into it, clasping his hands like he was at a job interview. "Listen, I know what I said on the podcast was awful. I was drunk and trying to be funny, and I've been beating myself up every single day since. I never meant any of it. You know me. You know I placed the folder on the table." He stopped talking. I opened it, turned it so he could see. Page 1. The group chat, time-stamped, with his name right at the top. His face drained of color. "Wait, where did you? That's taken out of context." "You planned it, Landon," I said, voice even. "You didn't just slip up. You orchestrated my humiliation because you wanted to make me look like the needy one, so you could leave with your image intact." He leaned back, blinking rapidly. His throat bobbed. It wasn't like that. I didn't think it would blow up." "No. You didn't think I would find out," I said. "You underestimated me." Again. His eyes filled with tears, but they didn't move me. "Please. I've cut things off with her. Adriana." I realized too late. "You're the one I raised a hand. Don't say my name like it still belongs to you." A silence stretched. He looked away first. "So what now?" he asked, voice barely audible. "Now? You leave me alone. No more calls. No more texts. No more letters. We're done. And if you try to accidentally bump into me again, I'll send these screenshots to your employer, your sponsors, and every podcast forum you depend on." His lips parted like he was going to beg, but I didn't give him the chance. I stood, slipped the folder back into my tote, and looked him in the eye one last time. "You wanted to go viral? Congratulations. You're unforgettable now." Then I walked out. No tears. No turning back. Just the sound of my own heels hitting the pavement. Steady, certain, free. That night, back at Bianca's place, I slept through the night for the first time in weeks. No waking up in a panic. No checking for missed calls. No post-it notes on my pillow. Just silence. The peaceful kind. The next morning, I made a list in my notes app titled, "For Me." Not a revenge list. Not a damage control list. Just, mine. Get new sheets. Something soft, something mine. Take a weekend trip, alone. Finally sign up for that CFP course I'd kept putting off. Cut my hair. Not to spite anyone. Just to start fresh. Call mom. Tell her the truth, all of it. Redeem the spa gift card I never used because he didn't like massages. By noon, I'd already crossed off the first two. I went to Target, my emotional support sanctuary, and picked out sage green linen sheets that felt like calm in textile form. Then I booked a solo cabin retreat for next weekend, a tiny A-frame with a reading nook and a view of the lake. No Wi-Fi, no noise. Later that day, I walked past a salon I'd never been inside before, paused, and walked right in. "How short?" the stylist asked. "Short enough to scare my ex," I smiled. When the scissors started snipping, I pictured every lie Landon had told me, every little jab he'd disguised as a joke. "You'd be so cute if you toned your arms a bit. Babe, you're kind of intense when you talk about your job. I mean, not everyone can be a size 2. Snip, snip, snip. By the time she spun the chair around, I barely recognized myself, in the best possible way. It wasn't about the haircut. It was about shedding the weight I didn't even realize I'd been carrying. I posted a photo on Instagram that night. Nothing dramatic, just me, natural light, new cut, soft smile. Caption: clean slate. Within an hour, the likes rolled in. Old friends, coworkers, even clients from the bank. And yes, Trevor. And Xavier. Even Amber, the girl Landon had been seeing, liked it. I didn't care about the attention. What mattered was that, for the first time in weeks, maybe in years, the reflection on my screen looked like me. Whole, quietly strong, unapologetically free. And I wasn't done yet. I didn't expect another twist. I thought I'd already turned the last page. But life, apparently, likes a dramatic finish. Friday afternoon. Just as I was finishing up some end-of-month reports from Bianca's dining table, my phone buzzed with a message request. It was from Amber, the girl from the gym. The one Landon had been secretly dating. Amber. Hey, this might sound strange, but I think we need to talk. About Landon. I stared at the screen. My gut reaction? Nope. Shut it down. But then another message followed. I didn't know about you. Not really. I just found out what he did. He told me you were his crazy ex. I'm so sorry. We agreed to meet at a coffee shop downtown. I told Bianca. She insisted on walking me there and sitting at a nearby table, just in case. Amber showed up in yoga pants and a hoodie, no makeup. Hair in a ponytail, she looked just like someone who had been lied to and only recently started putting the pieces together. The moment she sat down, she said it without hesitation. He told me you were jealous. That you'd hacked his podcast and were stalking him. I only found the truth when someone tagged me in a video you posted. She pulled out her phone and showed me screenshots. Messages from Landon. I haven't been with her in months. She's unstable. You're the one I want. She's blowing this all out of proportion to ruin me. One message sent the same day he was leaving crying voicemails for me. Come over later. I need to be around someone sane. I felt my stomach twist, but not out of hurt. Out of vindication. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't dramatic. I had been targeted and then rebranded as unstable to cover his tracks. Amber and I ended up talking for 2 hours. We compared timelines, stories, phrases he repeated. It was like solving a puzzle we never asked to play. She showed me one last thing, a note in her phone. He called me convenient, too. 2 weeks ago. I laughed. Not bitterly. Not sadly. Just exhausted. Same script. New actress. Before we left, Amber said, "You deserve better. If you ever want to go to that new wine bar on 5th, I'd love to go. Not as friends of an ex. Just 2 women who made it out. We exchanged numbers. Solidarity and survival." That night, I went home to my now quiet apartment. No more Landon. No more post-its. No more ghosts in the corners. I lit a candle. Turned on my favorite playlist, the one he hated. Opened the email confirming my enrollment in the Certified Financial Planner course. Then, for the last time, I unblocked Landon. Went to his Instagram. He'd changed his profile picture to a black square. His bio now read, "Sometimes the worst mistake is letting go of the right person." I took a deep breath and blocked him again. For good. I wasn't the one who lost something. He was. Have you ever been called too much or made to feel convenient? Drop the moment you knew you had to walk away in the comments. Someone out there needs to hear your story today.